what we got here is Mike Merlin Means, what's left of Merlin Public Media, which is called Talking Shit with Merlin. So this
Yeah.
is episode 1 of the rebirth. And with me is
Coinops McGillicutty.
Coinops McGillicutty. That one is one of the more interesting names in the free world. One day, and probably not today, I'm going to ask you how the hell you came up with that one.
Well, we could do that, but that's fine.
Okay, do it. We're here. Do it.
All right. Yeah, so the name came up because we were just talking about eras. Okay, so I'm one of the hosts of a podcast called the Low Life Podcast. And when I was trying to come up with like kind of a fun username, I ended up going with, oh, here come the dogs. I ended up going with Coinops because I was just thinking about how like Spec Ops is a thing, you know, like special operations and all these fucking cosplayers and shit. And I was like, yeah, but what about Coinops? It's like the old Donkey Kong game in the Pizza Hut. You know, like it was a coin operated game, and that's my era. Like I kind of came up with Pong at the Pizza Hut and Galaga and all that shit. And McGillicutty is just it's one of my favorite characters from Kids in the Hall, or those cops. And the one of the cops is his last name is McGillicutty. And I always thought that was just a funny name. I mean, it was always just going to be Coinops, but I added the McGillicutty because it's just fun to say. It's one of the more fun words. Yeah. I think that might, I don't even know if it's a real name.
Yeah, it is. I've known actual people with that name.
Oh, well, there you go. All right. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's real.
Yeah. So that's the whole, I was also really stoned when I came up with it. I was like,
no doubt,
man. And I actually had the sense of mind to write it down. And it stuck with me.
I did an interview with a band about a year or so ago called American Standards.
Okay.
And they are kind of a punk metal fusion.
Okay.
And, so I asked them, how'd you get the name? And I'm thinking, it's not the toilet. It's not the toilet.
It's the toilet. Yeah. That's the first thing I thought of. It's the first thing I thought of.
So they were all baked and they're trying to come up with the name. And he goes, back in those days, the punk bands, we just took a word and we put an S on it and that's our name. And so he came out of the shitter and he's like, American Standards. And they're like, yeah.
Perfect.
But they sound, it sounds like a top 40 band or something, but no.
Yeah, we play the standards. Yeah, that's pretty great. That's a good one.
Yeah, names are fun. Merlin was my handle back in the old DOS gaming days.
Yeah.
And it's still with me. So
yeah, it's nice to have like that alter ego. I'm not any different.
This is me. This is what you get. Take it or leave it. I really don't give a shit.
You can call me a pastrami sandwich. I don't care. Like, it's fine. I'll respond to most things. Grunt and point at me. I'll go,
back of my mind. That will come back to haunt you one day.
No, for sure. It'll be some guy yelling across a stadium, at nothing in particular. And I'll be like, what?
Me, man.
Why am I so self-obsessed? Anyway, yeah.
What's new and shit?
I don't know. I went back to Ohio a couple weeks ago. It was to see my old man, and then I ended up going to the West Side Bowl. And
in place, man.
I love that joint. And I wanted a pickle pizza. I wanted to stick around, have a bunch of beers. Some buds came out and stuff, and then we stuck around for the bands, and the bands were fucking fantastic. So yeah, heads up. The opening act was called Tay and the Neighborly, and they've recorded stuff, but they haven't released it yet. You could find them on YouTube. The young woman's voice is incredible. I was not expecting that. The second band was a two-piece metal kind of outfit. I'm not quite into the math, but they were definitely doing some complex things with the rhythms.
Mm-hmm.
And they're called Friendship Commanders, and they've got they're great. They just released a song called Blue that fucking rocks. You can definitely hear a couple of like influences there from other stuff, but it definitely is its own thing. They really slap. And then the headliner was they're called Ace of Wands, and they're out of Toronto, and they're phenomenal. I mean, they're holy shit. It was one of those kind of things where you're sitting there and I'm like, there's not enough people here. This isn't right. These guys are incredible. They have two women playing guitar. There, I want to say, is like a lead vocalist, but they harmonize constantly and like not all the time, just in interesting ways. Sometimes like left ear, right ear kind of stuff.
Okay.
They'll trade off on lines and things, but they harmonize beautifully. And then their drummer is sick. He's a really cool dude. I was talking to him at the merch table for a while, and then they went up and played, and I was just like, holy shit, man. Like, you guys are fucking great. So they just put out a new album called Desiring that I absolutely recommend. It's got a couple of notable tracks on it that I really like was it Black Heart Blackbird? I might be getting that backwards. And they have another one that kind of sounds like a Fleetwood Mac song, and then it just goes off. It's toward the end of the album. I can't remember what it's called right now. I've only listened to it 5 times, you know, like,
oh, well, shit. You haven't have it memorized yet.
Right. So, and then this is the funny thing. It's the first like show I think I've seen since the plague started. And the last show I'd seen was when I saw a comedian. I saw Bert Kreischer because my buddy was like his tour manager and he happened to be in town, so I got to go see that. But right before that, the last musical act I saw was Massive Attack on their like Mezzanine Revisited tour. It was one of the best fucking shows I've ever seen. Like, just unreal. There's, oh god, they're good. I can't even describe it, because like Mezzanine's one of my favorite albums, period. But what they did was they didn't play it in order, first of all, and second of all, they covered the songs they sampled, like a bunch of them. So they played like a Velvet Underground song. They played a Cure track. Like, it was sick. It was really, really kind of overwhelming and mind-blowing. And I was also on like 300 milligrams of edibles and smoked a bunch of wax. Yeah, I was pretty high, but I didn't move for 94 minutes. I don't even think pretty sure I didn't blink. And I learned something very important, and I'd like to share this with everyone. Stand near the sound booth.
Yes.
Come on. Just stand near the sound booth. It's never going to sound better than anywhere else in that building.
That's right.
Right where these guys are making it sound good. You know what I'm saying? And I learned that at that show, and I can't believe I'd done it before without realizing. I'm like, oh man, these guys sound really good. Never put it together that, oh yeah, well, like, it's because you're standing near the fucking soundboard.
Well, yeah, that's the heart of the mix. And some of the new boards are tablet accessible, and they can go
and walk
mix
around.
Yeah, I worked with a couple of guys that did that, and they just mix from any place in the venue.
That's sweet.
And you can get, I mean, a super solid whole house mix that way. It's really kind of cool.
The future is now.
Oh yeah, man.
Well, yeah. So then I get home, and then a few days later, like last Wednesday, just literally, was it this week? No, it was last week, because I'm still riding the high from this. I saw another show here in DC called 930 at the 930 Club. There's a group from Philly that opened called Sheer Mag, and they're glorious. That's all I can say. I don't know how to describe it. It's like AC/DC meets Janis Joplin-esque sort of like voice.
Okay.
Like the lady singing was just belting it out, and there's something really just wonderful and decadent about it. Like, they had this one guitarist off to the right wearing like a jean jacket with a Marshall Tucker Band t-shirt, and he had a headband on, and I was just feeling it. I was like, yeah, man. He was having a blast too. Like, everybody was just having a really good time, and they were tight. They were really good. And they were opening for the Sleaford Mods, who are this group from England, who seem almost designed to like piss you off if you're not paying attention. Because like the 930 Club, I've seen a few shows there. I've seen hip hop acts. They got a DJ. They got other vocalists and stuff. Like, it's a full stage 99% of the time. You have a band, you know, the whole drum rig, you know, all the amps and the monitors and everything, you know. And then you have these guys, and it's like this guy Jason Williamson's the lead vocalist. And I guess they've been around. They put out like 12 albums. I've only picked up like the last 3. I only picked up on them a few years ago. And then there's Andrew, who he has his laptop and he just plays the backing track and dances behind the thing. It's an empty stage. It's incredible. It's like not what you expect when you go to a show, but it's Titanic sounding. Like, Andrew's a hell of a producer. And I can't describe, like, it's like John Cooper Clarke sort of stuff, like it's like spoken word sort of stuff. Even though, like, Jason can sing, he's usually just screaming about how fucked up something is the entire time. And there's a lot that's fucked up.
Oh, yes.
They're very anti-Brexit. They hate the Tories. It's great. It's really fun stuff. Very political and very hilarious. But there's not a lot of banter between songs. They played for like 90 minutes and left. And I was like, I respect that. Like, you did your job, sir.
Come in, we did it. We're gone. Bye.
Yeah, currency was exchanged for goods and services. We're out. Like, it's fantastic. So yeah, I saw 5 great bands in like 5 days, and I just can't deal with myself right now. Like, I'm like crawling out of my skin. I want to go to another show. I had a scare a few days ago. I thought I had COVID, and I'm like, no, it's not that. It's the trees, man. They want to kill me.
Yes, I understand.
I need to take back a bunch of things I said about M. Night Shyamalan's movie, The Happening. I thought that movie was really dumb, and now I'm like, every morning I'm vomiting. I'm like, so much pollen. Why? I washed my car 2 days ago and I've already got like a millimeter on it. It's just unreal. It's unreal.
We're luckily past all of that here. I mean, a couple of trees, the olive trees are coming up yet. The mesquites are coming up, but most of the plants and shit are like done. We've got our lettuces are done. Our broccoli is done. It's time to start getting corn and melons and okra and all that kind of fun stuff. And I got to put up pictures here in the next couple of days. The aloes are blooming. I don't know if you've ever seen an aloe bloom stalk. These things are just awesome. I mean, there's nothing. Then there's this like 6-foot spike coming out of the middle of the plant, and then it starts dropping blossoms, and the hummingbirds go like nuts.
That's insane.
But it's we have them. We'll probably have hummingbirds for another, I don't know, couple of months, maybe a month and a half, and then they like disappear until it gets cold.
Right.
Which is smart. We should be so smart.
Right. I mean, I don't know if I could live in the middle of a desert. I don't. I just think of the nosebleeds I would get, because I think at this point I require a certain amount of humidity, and to remove that from myself, I think I would just be walking around with just blood constantly coming out of my nose.
It kind of does start like that, but your body adapts.
Yeah.
You want to dry your nose out? Get yourself one of these things, man. I don't know if the camera shows it.
Okay.
The nasal cannula. Yeah, whoopee.
Oh, right.
Yeah, in fact, let me put this thing on for a sec, because I'm going to need a little air here.
Sure. Oh, man. Yeah, no. We just have like relentless vegetation.
It makes most everything. Will you focus? Thank you. Everything easier. I sleep in it. Every time I stop, I put it on. When I'm at my desk, I put it on. And my CPAP is supposed to be coming after I see my doctor.
Right on.
But the sleep study, I don't know, a week and a half ago or so, I freaked the tech right the fuck out.
Yeah.
I mean, in the middle, she's running in there like, oh my God, and you do this and that, and then shoving this thing on my face, and it comes back like half an hour later, I got to adjust this, you're not. And I'm like, okay, this is why I'm here. This is your job. Keep me alive.
I like how they call it a sleep study, and aren't they just like poking you with like knives the entire time or something?
No, man, they wire you up. I mean, I had sensors all over my head, a couple on the face, 2 or 3 on the chest, a couple on the legs.
Yeah.
Had a O2 monitor on one finger, and they're running EKG and EEGs and all of that happy shit, and monitoring the oxygen flow. And
Oh yeah, I sleep like that anyway. You know, I'm always clamping shit onto myself before I go to bed.
I'm not sure I want to hear about that.
Just say it started small. By the time we got to COVID tests where you're shoving stuff up your nose, it got crazy.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
So that was fun, and this.
Yeah.
See anything missing?
Yeah, you ain't wearing glasses, it looks like.
I'm not wearing glasses. I've got 20/20
Nice.
since the 2 surgeries.
I'll tell you what, I'll get a surgery if they can give me infrared. I mean, it's
I want Zoom. They didn't have a Zoom lens. I wanted a Zoom lens.
yeah, zoom lens would be great. Just in the one eye, I'll just like close one eye and then I'll know what road to avoid.
Well, I couldn't even tell what road was coming up at the end of all of this stuff. I'm driving to Kingman to have some kind of freaking test, and I can't read the road signs. I'm like, pull off the road, get some coffee, cancel your appointment, go home really fucking slow. Don't kill anybody.
Right.
But 2 years ago, my eye doctor said, you got cataracts. You got 4 or 5 years before you got to worry about it. Had somebody else check them, and the dude's like, you got cataracts. You need surgery tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's one of those owner-operator eye clinics. Doctor owns the place. She said, I don't even want to sell you glasses, man, because by the time you have the first surgery, they'll be wrong. And so don't spend your money. And I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah.
You're not going to take my money for new glasses because what? You're the only cool doctor in the universe?
Yeah.
I'm sending everybody to him, man, because just shit. I mean, you could have made $300 off of me and nothing.
Yeah. No, I got a pair of glasses. I got 2 pair of glasses last time I went in. They're like, sure you don't want to get bifocals? And I was like, yeah, I don't think I need them. Like it's fine. And then my eyes got like markedly worse. And I have to take my glasses off now to read, but I have to read it at a certain distance, and I'm just like, man, all of this hardware is breaking down, isn't it?
I know that. I know that.
There's just
I love my bifocals.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm gonna have to get a pair. I'm gonna have to look all professorly and shit, and no one will buy it. It's.
Well,
you mistake me for the cool professor, and I'm like, I'm not that guy. I'm just a guy in jeans and t-shirts.
These for reading. I can't see a thing on my phone.
Right.
But I can tell you how many deer are standing on the mountain across the river 15 miles away. But
I can count stars, but my phone's a mystery.
Well, and it's really bizarre because I'm seeing things without my glasses that have been here since before I got here by centuries. For the first time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's really weird.
It's like those videos they show every so often where it's like a little kid gets glasses and they can actually see their parents for the first time. It's just like, it's very emotionally manipulative. Let's not pretend like it isn't, but it always does get me kind of in the cockles of my heart. I'm always like, yeah, that's got to be cool. You got to feel like a superhero, just for that moment. I'm wondering what I'm not seeing right now. I'm wondering how much detail is like missing from my vision. Like I'm okay.
Do you do any photography?
Kind of.
Okay.
Like I have a camera, but I use my phone now.
I see. I can't do the phone, man. It's just not big enough hunk of shit in my hands. I need to hold on to something.
You need that. Yeah.
So you're kind of familiar with color temperatures?
Yeah.
Okay. So everything shifted to like 8K Kelvin. I mean, it's just blue.
Nice. Okay.
And it's just, I'm like, hey, Doc, is this normal? Is everything supposed to be so blue? He goes, wasn't it before? I'm like,
right.
No. So, yeah, everything's like, I mean, daylight is 8K Kelvin, and I have to wear sunglasses. I can't go outside in full sun.
Fuck.
And they tell me that'll change.
Yeah.
But
I don't do that anyway. I mean,
well, I spend a goodly portion of my day outside. I mean, chickens and gardens and all that other happy stuff.
For sure. For sure. I could see myself wearing a big straw hat.
I can't see that. I can see you
I mean, if
wearing
I
an
had to,
Aussie cowboy hat.
maybe sure, okay, yeah, one of those ones where they tie up the one side.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I still don't know why that is.
I got no idea.
Like
There's
archery, like I don't
there's
know. It doesn't.
there's got to be a reason. It can't just be a fashion thing.
Right, right. Oh man.
And I don't think I care enough to look it up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or like those ones they always show, like in like martial arts, they have the gigantic umbrella looking hat. I know there's a name for it, and
Yeah.
I'm really stupid right now, but I wouldn't want to go through all the sword training required um, to be walking around with a hat like that. You know, it's just a little late in life to start ninja-ing.
A bit. But, I'm trying all kinds of new things even now. We're trying to figure out what I'm going to do with, like, I shut Merlin Public Media down, and all of a sudden I've got, like, time. Like, shit tons.
Yeah. Oh,
of
for sure.
Time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I spent a lot of time writing for the podcast. I couldn't imagine trying to run a network. Like that's one of those things where I'm just like, nah. You could have like all of my songs on random, but I'm not monitoring it. I'm not paying attention to it. I'm not going to program it.
Well, it's just depending on the system, it's not difficult.
No.
Live 365 happens to be a real bitch to program. And they're just like persnickety on playing certain amount of songs from an author or an album within a 1, 3, and 5 hour time frame, blah, 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 blah.
Holy shit.
So if you want to get around it, which I did, I'd record the whole set and title it as one song. And it's like I did with yours and Derek's and a couple other people's DJ set. It went up as a single song. What are they going to do?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, that's all we do. And that's all I do when I DJ. I basically I'll be broadcasting, and then I just type the songs into the chat as they come up, in case anyone's wondering. Like, then you don't have to ask, and then I don't have to panic. And we're just like, yeah, there it is.
What the hell is this? Oh,
yeah,
shit, I forgot.
Let me get out ahead of that. Well, I got a few victories from the old LimeWire days that I've got to put that song in, because it's like you're not going to find it. Like, and if you do, it's going to be on some limited CD5 import from Austria. Like you had to travel back in time to when Austria existed. And it's just there's just so much shit in the world. But yeah, there was somebody had posted a question in their this one group I'm in on Facebook. It deals with like kind of old breakbeat songs from like the mid 90s, late 90s, early 2000s and stuff like that. And there's some really good stuff in there that I have right over there on vinyl and stuff that I just like, wow, I really miss. But there was this one track in particular. I'm not the biggest Linkin Park fan. I don't hate them, but I was never like all about them. They had some songs. It was cool, and it's just I heard it too much. And whenever I hear something too much, like not on purpose, like I didn't play it, it kind of annoys me. Like I can't deal with Imagine Dragons. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. But there was this one remix because there was a moment where I think it was like fucking Jay-Z teamed up and did like 5 songs with Linkin Park, and then somebody went and did this massive remix of it that's like 10 minutes long, and it's really aggressive and it's not super fast or anything like that. It's like about 130 some beats per minute. It's not like hardcore or jungle or anything. It just makes me happy to play it.
Okay.
It's just one of those ones where I'm like, yeah, this is a good venue for this song. I really like it. And some guy he posted the video to it, and I was like, I'd give anything if I could put my hands on that. And I was just like, you'll never have it. I can't give this to you. I'd feel bad for you and me, especially me. It's like you got to have your secret weapons. You got to have a few of them sitting in the pocket. But that was one of the ones I got off at LimeWire. And it wasn't a virus, and it didn't tank our fucking 486.
Yeah, That was risky times, man. Risky times.
Oh, absolutely. It's like I got that. I got a DJ Shadow with Zach De La Rocha from Rage Against the Machine song called "Drums of Death." I think March of Death. I think it's March of Death. It's fucking awesome. It's a great song. That was another one. Just got lucky. Like discovering music now is so hard.
It
It like in a way, if you don't know what you're doing, it is. You know, not everyone worked in a record store. Not everyone had, you know, it was keyed into networks of people trading tapes and stuff. Like the thing I learned from working at a record store was like you follow producers to a certain extent, and then like learn the band's names, like the people, because they'll see what else they do. Because I'm constantly finding people that I was a fan of show up in different projects. Like one of my favorite musicians is Bill Laswell, the bass player, and I swear to God, I did not know this until I would have to say a few years ago. One of the reasons I got into like electronic music at all, ever, just interested in it or anything, was Herbie Hancock's Rocket.
Oh, okay.
And
everybody knows that one. Yep.
Everybody knows that song. And you see the video and it's got like weird fucking robots pretending like they're playing instruments, and you get this DJ scratching and stuff. But there in the background, it's fucking Bill Laswell playing bass. It's
really?
Like this dude's been like he's like this like brilliant. He has this like Forrest Gumpian talent of just appearing in all of these. He's got his own shit. He's got like this gigantic ambient project that he's been working with. He's been part of Material. He's been part of what was the other one? There was Material and Praxis. There's this double disc for 8-track album that you could probably find on, you know, anything, called Axiom Ambient. All the tracks are like over 10 minutes long and they're gorgeous. They even do a 17-minute like cover of Parliament Funkadelic's Cosmic Slop, but they call it Cosmic Trigger.
Oh, I know that book.
Yeah. So I mean he played bass on a song on this band called Emergency Broadcast Network. And they have this album called Telecommunications Breakdown. He played on the Aladdin Sane, but it isn't a cover of the Bowie song. It's different. And it's just like really crazy. And the first time I ever saw him was on the bonus like floppy disk it came with. Like you could put that into your computer and then watch the videos for a couple of the songs and stuff. And it was the first time I'd ever seen him in his goatee. And I was like, oh shit, that's what the Dark Lord of Bass looks like. Okay, cool. But he also played bass with the Golden Palominos. You know, like this guy has been everywhere. He did a remix not recently, whenever like Year Zero came out by 9 Inch Nails, he did a remix of Vessel, and it's filthy. It's just incredible. And that's how I look for music now. I find an artist, and then I find, you know, hey, do they have any side projects? And I see what the side projects are, and then that usually turns me into something else. You know, it's almost a narrative, the way I look for music, as opposed to, hey, what's new? You know, yeah, I check that stuff out, and there's some really clever stuff.
I did something like that. Up through most of high school, I listened to classical music. I mean, that was it. That was all I listened to. So somebody comes into, I think it was Latin class, and says, "You like classical music? Here, listen to this." And it was Rick Wakeman's original Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Well, shit.
And I'm like, what the hell is this shit?
Yeah.
This is like everything together. So I started following Wakeman. So what do I find first? The Straubs.
Okay.
You go to the Straubs and you follow Dave Cousins and you follow Sandy Denny and you follow Hudson and Ford, and you kind of go back, and then you follow Wakeman into Yes, and then you follow, you know, Squire and White and Bill Bruford, whose Earthworks is as good or better than anything he ever did with Yes. Okay. And that's one of his solo projects, Jazz.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's wild to me. Yeah.
You know, and of course now you got to figure out which Yes you're listening to, because there's like several different things called Yes. Came to our casino town right across the river. And
Oh
I'm
shit.
like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
So I just started doing a little digging, and it's Steve Howe
Okay.
and four other guys.
Right. Okay.
And
Yeah.
the tickets were like $100 a piece in Laughlin, Nevada. And everyone's like, "You're a Yes
No.
fan. Are you going?" I'm like, I'm going to happily sit at home and listen to real Yes music.
Yeah.
But
That's an interesting thing, though. The idea of like a rotating lineup, um, because there are bands that have evolved.
mhm.
Pink Floyd's one, um, Genesis massively. Like all the way through their sound, it never was stagnant. You know, these bands sometimes they can have new personnel and still be good, and I'm like kind of sitting here struggling to think of any. Because like we always associate with the voice, no matter what the music's like, we always associate with the singer. The singer is kind of
Mhm.
like the anchor. It's the thing you're relating to, most immediately, until you learn instruments and then you start identifying with whatever you play and stuff. But like, I don't, like there's a lot of stuff out like, like I don't like going to see cover bands. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if I go to a bar and there's one on and they're good, props. You know what I mean? But I don't like, I'm not going out of my way. If
Right.
there's a good wedding band and they're throwing down, because I've seen a few that are just, they get the assignment and they're having fun, like, yes, okay, that's fine. But that's what it feels like some of these bands would be if they're just like, well, okay, for example, there's 2 Queensryches. I think this is still the case. Because like Jeff Tate left the band, but the band decided, fuck you, we wrote the music, so the songs are as much ours as they are yours. And so there was like, instead of this legal shit, he just went and hired a whole nother band. And I'm not sure how they differentiate the name, because like one is like, I think they have like a parenthetical or something in parentheses, or I'm sorry, yeah, after a colon or something in the name. But I wouldn't know which one I'd want to see then.
Yeah.
Because I really like the band, like themselves. I think they're insanely talented and they're wonderful to listen to and stuff. And Jeff just has a great voice, and I can't understand why they would have split. This doesn't make sense to me. I just don't, I like the Rolling Stones still fucking tour.
Yeah.
Like Ozzy said he was hanging it up, and then I see he's got like 5 dates for fucking festivals, and I'm like, what are you doing, man? You've done the work. You're good. Take a break, bud. Have a bat.
Yeah. Fresh.
Oh man. But it's true though. Like here's how I found out about the Sleaford Mods. All right, there was a show on Hulu called Devs, Devs, and it's fantastic. I absolutely recommend it. It's Alex Garland directs it, and he's the guy that did Ex Machina,
Okay.
which is fantastic. And then he's also the guy that wrote, like he started working with Danny Boyle on a movie called The Beach. It was based on a novel he wrote, and then he stopped writing books after that and only continued writing screenplays with like Danny Boyle. Most notably 28 Days Later, fucking Sunshine, which is just, I love that movie so much. So much. He also wrote the Dread reboot with what's his face in it, Carl Urban, which is underrated and fucking fantastic.
I don't think so.
It's fantastic, man. You're gonna love it. It really gets the comic. It's like really darkly funny in a few spots, especially when he asks Anderson where her helmet is. It's a great exchange, but they play it straight. He never takes the helmet off. It fucking rocks. But he's been doing these movies recently. Like he did Ex Machina. That was his first movie he directed. And then he followed it up with Annihilation, which is based on a fantastic book. And it's a great movie in its own right. It's just, one of the befuddling kind of abstract sci-fi movies, but I love that shit. And then he did this thing called Devs, and it has like Nick Offerman playing basically this like billionaire tech guru. And it's about this system they're building and what it's capable of and what it can do. I think it's only like 8 episodes, and you should definitely just go watch it. I'm not going to say anything else about it because it's really good. But the soundtrack is fantastic. And it had something similar to like the sound design and the audio from Annihilation and stuff. And this is what I start to realize, that he's working with Jeff Barrow. And I'm like, I know that name. Why do I fucking know that name? And I go look it up. I was like, oh shit, it's Portishead. Like this is the dude that did like all the cool sounds in Portishead. You know, like he's also, it turns out I think he's a drummer. He's also in a band called Beak, which is fucking great. And I started following him on Twitter because I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna see what this guy's up to. And he'd been hyping devs and stuff like that. And then like a few months later, he just casually mentions a few like other artists that are kind of up and coming and have been working for a while. And one of them was Sleaford Mods. And that's when I checked him out. I was just like, fuck, they blow me away. Like this is my wheelhouse. It's just an angry dude screaming into a microphone. It's fantastic. It's punk as fuck. And but he also mentioned Billy No Mates, who's a solo artist out of the UK, and she's great. She's got an amazing song called No, and then she did a song with Sleaford Mods, and then it just started snowballing into like all of these other bands that I've found because of those guys and who they've recommended and stuff. Like Twitter is okay for certain things. It's generally a giant, tightly coiled turd right now, but it's never been easier to watch like the thrashings of a man-child, like the most divorced man in history, by just sticking around Twitter and watching Elon Musk act the fool. You know, like it's just, it was Schadenfreude for a while, but now it's just like, oh, bud, just like as a fellow human, just stop, just stop. You have the money, just make something. The only thing you've ever made is a fucking flamethrower. It's the only thing you've ever made that's never had a recall or a crash. Anyhow. But yeah, no, streaming has made it like easier than ever to discover music, but like not if you go to their playlists.
Yeah.
You know, like the suggested playlists are always going to be, you know, pay for exposure kind of situation. You get shit like Spotify where they don't even fucking pay their artists shit. At all.
Don't even have the app. Won't listen to it. Don't. No.
That's why I don't fuck with it. Somebody was just like, yeah, why isn't your podcast on Spotify? And I was like, because they're shitty. They're a shitty company. I don't like them. You know, I don't like every company, but they in particular are egregious. They're trading in billions of dollars and they barely break off anything to them. Oh God, who was it? There was somebody fucking big, like James Taylor kind of level, talking about how like, oh yeah, I've had like 1.2 million streams and I just got my check for $300. You know?
Yeah, and you're like,
go fuck yourself.
You know, the only reason to be on there is to hope to get some exposure and make your money someplace else.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, there are people who that's all they use.
Yeah.
And they don't buy music. You know, like I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, you gotta have vinyl. But I do believe in compensating the artist for their work.
Yes.
Yeah, that 3-minute song took weeks. And never mind the years of practice to get to that point. You know, it's kick them a buck. So I like Bandcamp's going through some shit right now because they were the people that work there were trying to put a union together and they're trying to bust the union. So I'm kind of like cooling the brakes on Bandcamp Friday here.
Yeah.
But I like them because almost all of the money would go to the artist that way. There's a ton of them up there who'll just give you the music, name your price.
Yeah.
And here's $10 then, you know, for that album. Because that's what an album costs. That's what I like about the cities too. Like in the bigger cities I've lived in, you know, you just would encounter, like I lived in Chicago for a bit, and there was this dude, Brian, who I just kept running into all over the city for like, but the whole time I was there, the whole 3 years I was there, I just kept running into, he's the nicest dude. He's just this tall guy. And he told me, he like, when I met him, and I know this probably isn't true now, but like when I met him, he's like, yeah, I'm living in my grandmama's basement, you know, and I'm trying to like get shit going, like as a hip hop artist, like I'm a rapper and stuff. Like I have, you know, some demos and shit. And I was like, yeah, next time I see you, I'll get your album. And he's like, oh, I don't have an album yet. I just got these mixtapes. I was like, hey, fine. Next time you know, if you got some on you, I'll keep running into you. Well, I didn't see him for like a while, and then I did run into him, and he had fucking records. Like he had recorded an album. He goes by Sharkula.
Okay.
And fast forward 15 years since I've been there, this dude's like a bit of a legend now. And I'm like, oh, you mean Brian? He's the nicest guy. Like he deserves to be. I'm telling you, I would see him miles and miles apart. Sometimes he'd be in the loop down near the campus and stuff where I was going to school. Sometimes he'd be way up near the north side, like in Andersonville. Sometimes he'd be up on the west side. And I'd just be going to like a bowling alley bar kind of situation. And then boom, he'd be there, and I'd be like, what are you doing? He's like, I got to hustle, man. And I'm like, do you stop walking ever? Like,
yeah,
this is a big city, man. How do you keep getting away? Like, how do I keep running into you? That's incredible. I hope he's doing all right. He was great though, but I would absolutely collaborate with him. He's like one of those cats. He's just goofy. He's like very cool Keith, in his style, where he's just talking shit. Like, there's no other way to, kind of like this show.
Yeah.
I've heard him do interviews. Well, I've heard him do interviews and stuff, and he has a little effects box, and he'll run tape loops and stuff. So he'll just be talking to you, and just like boom, he'll have this giant reverb effect on his voice for no reason. Then it goes away immediately. He never addresses it. It's really fucking great. Man, I like music. It's good.
It's just about, kind of more or less separates us from the rest of the critters out there. Birds sing, but that's talk. That's not.
Yeah.
Except maybe chickens.
I miss the cicadas. We had the cicadas real big here a couple of years back. It was fantastic. I never slept better in my life. I'd take naps. That's when I started taking midday naps. Like the cicadas showed up.
Uh-huh.
And just that, I went outside with a decimelometer and it got up to 128.
Oh my God.
I'm not kidding. But in the house, it was just this, it was like a white noise machine. It was all enveloping. There's nowhere I couldn't hear it. And I just go to sleep. And they're my favorite insect, because they're just so dumb. Like all they do is scream all day because they're horny.
Yeah.
But if they like fly on you, they'll just land on your hat. They're like, hey, what's up? I'm like a lazy grasshopper, like mowing the lawn was really interesting for a few months.
God damn.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's music though. But I don't know. That goes back to the ambient thing.
Not unlike one year I lived in Youngstown proper, there was the locusts came through.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Those are different.
Those guys those are not nice. They're not, just.
Yeah, they're not cool. They're that would drive me crazy. Well, you told me there was one time, I think, didn't you say you were working like in Vegas or Circus or something like that? And there was like locusts out there so bad it was like ankle deep.
Yeah.
Or like shin deep or something like that. And I was just crazy. Like the plague, like biblical shit.
Kind of get used to biblical type shit when you're living in the desert. It's just, we've got a new housing boom coming up here. And of course, now they're shutting off our water.
Oh, cool. In the desert. Cool. That's what you need.
Yeah, and I'm like, every time somebody moves in, I'm like, this is kind of a cool town. Go the fuck away.
Right. Quit making it so appealing, Merlin.
Yeah. It's, I love it here, but I like the fact that I live in a town of 40,000, maybe 42,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And, you've got decent sized city 40 miles away, and another 60 miles from that, and then you got Vegas to the north. You want to drive for an hour and a half, but there's nothing here.
Yeah.
And I like that. Right.
And so do more and more people, it seems.
Apparently.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the city. I like to not know if I'm going to get off the train alive. Like there's just, because you never know. And I'm here, fucking, like we're young Stowners. You know what I mean? We're like old school Rust Belt. And then here I am in a first strike nuclear strike city, knowing full well that I'm not going to have to wander the wasteland with radiation sickness. I'm going to be vapor.
No, you're gone.
I'm going to be vapor. My ghost is going to be vapor.
Yeah, and here they'll probably take out Hoover, which is upriver from me.
Oh, shit.
We're about, give take 300 foot higher than the Colorado River where the house is.
Okay.
So I'm kind of cool.
Okay.
But every psycho son of a bitch with a gun should be coming up here trying to, Didn't
they arrest some guy like a few years back? He was like some QAnon guy or something like that. He drove his truck out onto it. And
yeah.
I mean, it's like, this guy's like, do your own research. Okay, how's that working out for you, bud?
Yeah, you might want to take a couple of years off, try and get a grant, and then bury your head in the sand.
Mm-hmm. God, that's an idea. I need a grant for $40,000 to bury my head in the yard. I just have to do it once.
Yeah, just once.
Yeah, and then I
do
write
it right.
about it. Do it right. Exactly. Get a running start. Good Lord. I don't know. What else, man? I haven't been consuming much other art. Like, I only watch stuff when T's home. You know, like we'll watch a show together. But I don't like. Okay, so here's the thing I'm trying to do. I have 2 movies, and I'm looking for a third to be part of a collection that I would like to call Ruin Your Day, the Ruin Your Day trilogy. Okay. If you're having a really good day and you want to not have a good day, you can start by watching The Painted Bird. It's a very rough fucking movie about a little kid who is basically he's wandering by himself in World War II. And it's a series of vignettes. It was made pretty recently. It's filmed in black and white. Like Harvey Keitel's in one of the scenes. I think Stellan Skarsgård's in one of the scenes. But it's like a series of vignettes where this kid is being basically passed from kind of person to person who's like trying to take care of him or not, decidedly not trying to take care of him. And it's a very, very rough watch. I had to take about 3-4 smoke breaks during the course of watching it. And I didn't watch it with T. It was one of those ones where I was like, nah, I've been hearing about this. I gotta check it out. People apparently walked out of its first viewing.
Oh my.
And when I saw the scene, I was just like, oh, I get it. This isn't fun. Like this is powerful. It's a powerful film. It's absolutely, cinema. But like the other movie, the second movie I have in the trilogy is it's called Come and See. It's a Russian, probably the greatest anti-war film ever made. It's definitely about war. It's very hard to watch. It's fucking amazing though. And you're exhausted at the end of it. And it's shorter than The Painted Bird by an hour. It's only like 2 hours long, but it's just again, it's another one. It's about this kid and he wants to join like the partisans to fight the Russian or to fight the Nazis in World War II. And it goes about as well as you'd think. You watch this kid age over the course of this movie. Like it's pretty impressive. It's really hard to watch. But again, it's another one. It's a super bummer. And I'm just wondering what the third one would be. I forgot my eye on this one. It's on Netflix called Hard to Be a God. And again, Russian film. But it's about I guess these guys who land on this planet and they look like the people that live there. But the people that live there are like very much against science and shit. And so these guys have to hide that they landed on a spaceship and everything's like covered in mud. It's just filthy, medieval looking and shit. And I just haven't had the 3 hours that I want. It's another black and white film too, I think. If it isn't a black and white film, then it's just monochromatic because everything is literally covered in mud.
And here's me excited that Babylon 5 is on Tubi.
Oh, Tubi rocks.
I know. Tubi's
got so much good shit on it.
But, when I haven't been able to watch Babylon 5 in years because it was tied up with HBO and somebody. And then the one day I'm on Facebook and Babylon 5's on Tubi. And I'm like, the fuck it is. So, of course, I walk away from the computer, go in turn on my Roku, and well, you look at that
Boom.
shit.
Yeah, I like it. There's a ton of good stuff on there, man.
Yeah.
We reviewed a movie that was on there called Jackrabbit, and I absolutely recommend it. It's a very, very micro, low budget movie that's done well. I think it's filmed in or around Austin, and it's kind of about it's I don't want to say too much either. This is another one of the, like, I'm really bad at this. Like, if a person hasn't seen a movie, I don't want to give away like the cool stuff, like when you discover shit. So it's just like weird. It's like the middle of the apocalypse. Like the apocalypse is happening, and it's this really quiet film, just about this guy and this other guy, and they're kind of working together to do a thing. They call like discarded electronics, because no one's making anything anymore, so you just have to find computers and cobble shit together. So they have these like really cool looking old vintage like machines that are spliced together with extra parts and stuff that seem functional, and they call it Tetris. They call like the discarded electronics Tetris. I thought that was a nice detail.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good. It's like, it's a very good cyberpunk film. I just never would have seen it if it wasn't just happened to be on Tubi.
I found a lot of stuff on there, and it continues to amaze me. The only pay service I've got right now is BritBox.
Right on, yeah.
Which I really like. I really need to find some place that isn't going to cost an arm and a leg, where I can catch up on the last 6 years of Doctor Who. It's been that long since I've been able to watch it new.
I feel that, yeah.
And
I watched the first season with that what's his name? Great actor.
Capaldi?
He was in 28 Days Later. Nah, before him. First guy. Christopher
Eccleston.
Chris Eccleston. Yes.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
Yes, he is.
And then after that, I just couldn't get into it. But I liked him. I liked him a lot, and it's a shame he only did one season, because he was fucking amazing at it.
Yeah, I forget. There's a story there which I heard it and promptly forgot it because I'm old and my brain is fucked. But
yeah.
I'll spend 10 minutes twice a day trying to figure out where I left my vape.
Yep. Yep. I've done that. I'm at that age where I walk around with my glasses on, looking for my glasses.
Oh, I've been holding my vape while looking for it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I've also been using the flashlight on my phone to look for my phone. So
we're doing great here.
Oh yeah. Well, we're not dead yet, but
This is what Alvin Toffler was talking about in Future Shock. It's like, why do we even call it a fucking phone anymore?
That's the thing, is it's least.
I don't use it
useful.
for that. I don't use it for my phone. I don't talk on it. I don't like talking on it, because every form of fucking communication's been ruined by just spam.
Yeah.
And I don't know to what end. What makes you think that I'm going to, like, if it's a legitimate ad, what makes you think I'm going to fucking buy your product if you're just calling me? Who does that anymore? Like, it feels like that entire thing is gone, because like, you used to have a landline and then time it. Hey, look, I'll call you at 5 after school, and then we'll go meet up at the library. There was that. Or when everybody got to be big shit, get an answer machine, and then you'd record a message, and that was the big novelty. But you still had to coordinate things. You still had to leave a message that you knew that any member of the family could listen to, so it couldn't be too fucked up. Now you're doing voicemails specifically to like a direct peer-to-peer almost. And it's like, hey, snozballs, fucking quit having sex with that pig and meet me at the bar. Like stuff that you would never say to a fucking
God, no.
And now I told everybody, I'm like, you need to talk to me. Text me first. I'm happy to talk, but text me first. Make sure I'm not in the middle of something, because I'm not going to pick up then. I want to make sure I can talk to you.
Well, see, and don't take this wrong. People my age, 60 plus.
Yeah.
I just call them.
Oh, no. I get, there are certain people
under
who can.
like 50. I text them first because there's a
Right.
break there between generations that,
Yeah.
no, man, don't fucking call me. Send me a text, see if I'm busy. If I don't, I'll get back to you when I'm not busy.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the big things I'm always thinking about. I think about the fact that, like, like my great grandma lived through like the 1800s and then the first flight and then the moon landing.
Yeah,
Like
amazing.
that huge jump. And for us, it was just like, oh, we just lost the cord on the phone, and now this thing just chirps at you constantly, and it just wants your attention constantly. And it's like, I need to put you away. But I do. I have stuff on it that I use. I have like a police scanner. I got this great app called Radio Garden, and it just does internet radio, whoever's broadcasting, and it has a globe on it. You spin it, pick a city, zoom in, pick which radio station you want in that city.
Oh,
Like
wow.
yeah, it's fantastic. I actually paid the money to unlock the shit. I was like, nah, this is fucking beautiful. This is a great service. Because I ended up listening to Kyiv the day Russia invaded Ukraine. And
Oh,
there were like,
whoa.
I was listening to like some English language stations. There was this dude who was just fucking playing surf music and shit. Like, it was surreal as fuck. It was one
Oh,
of those things where I was like, this is wild. There was a dude who had an ambient station, and he would ask for people to send me an hour long set and I'll play it. And I was like, that's great. Like, I liked what it was a very interesting, unique like way to look into it. Yeah, you could use it to listen to music and stuff, but it's also kind of, hey, what's going on in the world? Well, what's going on in their radio station right now? As this is happening. For example, Paris is a very interesting one at the moment.
oh boy. But nothing's
Yeah,
happening there, folks. It's okay.
yeah, nothing's happening there. They just like the workers stormed the headquarters of Louis Vuitton today. It's man, to have a tenth of that vibe here.
Oh, geez. Imagine what we could accomplish.
Yeah, good lord, man.
Focus. Thank you. Jeez. Yes, I have to replace this thing.
Yeah,
It's damn, it looks like it's even 3x4. Yeah, I gotta replace this thing.
what, your camera?
Yeah, and it's so bloody light sensitive. It's just insane. I'm almost in the dark here.
Well, I know you have like an effect going on in the background,
Yeah, it's just a
and
blur.
just a blur, right? And it's very weird to look at.
Yeah.
It's like it's very weird to look at. Well, but also you move like 2 inches back and you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
You're like immediately part of the background.
Yeah, I'll get a new camera here.
They got to get the whatever technology that's that sensitive and slap them in those self-driving Teslas, and maybe they'll stop hitting children.
Self-driving cars just scare the shit out of me. Then they start with semis, and I'm like, no.
That's a big no. It's a big no. Well, they've been running them. There's some of them that are actually in service, but they're like way up out of the way and stuff where it's not gonna fuck with people. Still not a fan. See, we need more trains.
We do.
We need to maintain the trains that we have, because
and the tracks.
That's the big thing, real big.
Yeah.
I love that. Like when I grow up in Youngstown, you got to have a car. You have to, because the bus, it's never, you don't know where the fuck it is. You don't know where it's going to go. Like it's so intermittent that it's almost functionless, because otherwise you got to start your day 2 hours early just to get wherever you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Car, yeah, you can get there in 10, 15 minutes. That's fine. But like a train, like God, Chicago is so fucking big, and I was able to get almost anywhere at any time because they just didn't shut it down. It's a great people mover. It's consistent. Sometimes they catch on fire. Then it's fun. It's fun to watch.
It's generally consistent.
Generally consistent.
I lived there for most of a year, and it's not utterly dependable, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, no, and it's cheap.
Yeah,
like you don't have to pay insurance. You don't have to pay gas. You don't have to, fucking
park
pay
someplace.
Right. You don't have to pay for parking. You don't have to pay for storage. Like if you have an apartment and you have to pay for a slot, like the way they nickel and dime you to death on it. The way every car company's trying to get you to lease and then swap out the car every 3 years. It's like, where do these cars go, man? You know, like, I know that there's just lots filled with these fucking abandoned cars. It's like, why are we still making them? You know, like,
well, everybody wants a new car, right? I'll tell you the truth. I'm 64 years old. I've never had a new car, not once.
yeah. No, we have. We paid one off. We got another one so that we can now, like, it's easier for T does a lot of travel.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, you know, she'd have the car and then I'm here with the dogs, and if something happens, I'd have to basically carry a dog to the vet by hand, you know?
Okay, that could be tough. Unless you got Chihuahuas.
Yeah, the one dog, fine. The other one's 75 pounds. That's not happening.
No.
I would need to get a wagon or something.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of hills. Ain't fucking with that. But, you know, it's still, it's just, trains are better. They're just better. We should have high-speed trains already. Like, we should be bragging about them. Just have them run straight through the middle of the country. Just coast to coast.
Well, the one time, I've always wanted to ride long distance over on a train, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I went from a little town close to here called Needles, California.
Okay, yeah.
Through Chicago to, I think it was Akron.
Ooh.
It was like 30 hours one way.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can drive that in far less. Thank you.
Yeah, but here's the difference. You're not driving.
That's true.
Like, even now, I run back to Ohio, it's like 5-6 hours. You get to that fourth hour, and I'm just like, can this be over? Can this just be over? What I'd like to do is what I could do on a train, which is just take a nap.
Yeah.
You know? I'd be like, I'm fine. I don't need to look out the window the whole time.
Well, the big
I'd rather not fly.
I mean, like flying.
No, flying's cool. It's very cool. But if I had to choose how I was going to die, I would like to not know, which is a lot more likely if we derail.
That's true.
If you're 63 or 50,000 feet up, 30,000 feet up, 10,000 feet up, you're going to have some time to think about it.
And scream.
And time is going to do that adrenaline slowdown thing, so it's going to seem like it's even longer. Yeah, no, just let me get, impaled with an I-beam or some part of the structure, real quick. Let me not worry about the mask dropping.
Well, the biggest problem I had with the train was at that time I was chain smoking. I mean, chain smoking.
Yeah.
You couldn't smoke on the train, of course. There's no more smoking car. There's no smoking in the dining car.
Right.
And there are occasional stops where you can get off the train and smoke.
Right.
Some of them were 8 hours apart.
Mm-hmm.
And you're sitting there having a nick fit, and they tell you when you board, if you are caught smoking or vaping at the next stop, we're putting you and your luggage off the train wherever the hell it is.
Yeah.
And then you see them do it.
Mm-hmm.
They put this dude off the train. The stop was a little sun shelter and a bench and a trash can. And beside that was what looked like a path going back somewhere. And they dropped his ass and his luggage there and said, "See you later."
No one ever heard from him again.
Well, not only that, but no one dared smoke or vape the entire rest of the trip.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's it. You see it once and you're like, yeah, no, not me.
No. I'm sure if there were more, they would have like some sort of open car, something where you would be able to do that.
They might, but and you're right. This is one of the things as a nation we truly need.
Yeah.
It's I mean, you look at outside of the East Coast.
Let's add more lanes. Yeah.
There's nothing in the way of trains.
Mm-hmm.
Well, passenger trains.
Yeah. Even in inner city, like a metro situation. I think every town, you don't necessarily need something as elaborate as having like 10 different lines or anything like that. But depending on the size, even something like Youngstown, you just have a couple circulators. You have a small circle downtown, kind of get you around the downtown, and then you have a big circle that gets you from the suburbs.
Yeah.
And then you have like something that goes straight in. You know what I mean? Something that
it's not it paid for
it's
itself.
jobs. Yeah, it's jobs. And that's another thing. Like I don't think we, like they're always trying to make like the fucking post office, profitable. It's like it's not a business, asshole. It's a service. Like you're not supposed to be making money. You're supposed to make sure the package gets to the other person. That's what makes this country run. That's what's important.
They don't even have that part down.
No, well, I mean, look, we're too far into the game because, like, I remember it's like for me, it's not really a problem. Like, we got a post office down the street. Those folks are on point. I've never had a package get misdelivered. It's just, it's that thing where like they defund it and then it starts fucking up, and then they go, look, it doesn't work. And I'm like, it's because you defunded it. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want my tax money to go to, not this $1.7 trillion jet that can't even land that we've been spending money on for 20 some fucking years.
Well, it's just, they'll be coming after the public libraries pretty damn quick. I'm sure of it.
No, yeah, there already are. I mean, cue the Bugs Bunny sawing Florida off of the ocean, off the United States GIF, what they're doing down there is just insane.
Yeah, we got a mutual friend down there.
Oh, who do we got?
Laura's down there now.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right. Oh man. Oh fucking yeah. Forgot about that. I think she's staying with her mom or something.
Yeah, staying with her mom, and she is in the program, so to speak.
Godspeed. Yeah, no, she's good peeps.
So,
man. Yeah, I worry about everyone down there. I got a bunch of friends down there, and it's just like, you guys are right, and they're like, no, it's literally a hellscape, and I'm like,
yeah,
cool, get out, like if you can, but that's such a shitty thing anyway. Not everyone can leave.
No, they can't.
It's not an option. You shouldn't have to live under a fucking fascist mook like that. Like he's such a fucking, his DeSantis's grandma's like from Youngstown.
No, come on.
I swear to God, I heard that and I saw it in a few different places, and I was just like, that can't be fucking. Well, I mean, for years we've known it ever since since we fucking first met. We've always known that there's this like Ohio to Florida pipeline. There were certain people, they just get to a certain point in their lives and they would just go to Florida. I got friends that live down there, work down there for a real long time and stuff. And I never understood it. I was like, why? And they're like, because it's sunny and hot and nice, and there's, you could swim, and they got clubs and all kinds of shit. And I was like, okay. Still not there. You got alligators.
You got cockroaches the size of your feet.
Yeah, I'm good. But I'm also not a hot weather guy. I'm not a beach guy. Like I like it. I love the ocean. The first time I ever went to the ocean was in Maine, though. Water was fucking 40 degrees. Shit. Oh yeah, you learned a lot about yourself real fast.
Yeah. Yep. First time fascinated for me by the ocean was San Diego.
Oh, well, the most pleasant, weather in America.
Well, apparently. At the time, yeah, I loved it. And I mean, I got this thing about big cities. I can like feel all these fucking millions of people around me. And I hate it. I hate it. San Diego, on the other hand, was just like this massive world-class city. And it was comfortable. It was weird.
I've heard, I had a few friends that have lived out that way, and they said it's really nice. And then it got real expensive, and they were like, yeah, you can't live here. Yeah. That's the problem. And I'm like, yeah, it always happens. People need to be paying a little more attention to real estate speculation before this next bubble pops.
Oh, geez.
Real quick.
And
well, it's funny. Okay, so I got to build a gate. All right. I got to build a little fence gate, about 4 feet high, 6 feet wide, right? And the reason I have to do this is because like what we were using as a barricade to keep the dogs in the backyard is kind of deteriorating a bit.
Okay.
I want to get ahead of it. So I go out, I run to the hardware store. I go to look at, first thing I need is going to be a post hole digger. What I did not expect to see is their baseline post hole digger being $58 fucking dollars.
Uh-huh.
And I thought about it, and I'm like, it's because less people own homes now than ever, because it's all rental properties. Everything's a fucking rental property. And why would you buy tools and fix up the house you don't own and aren't going to gain equity on?
Exactly right.
You know what I mean?
Get that.
Right. So less people are buying tools. Tools are going to be more expensive now.
Right.
I mean, my God, the one, they had like a kit there. I'm going to build it from scratch. I'm just going to get the fence and everything and just wire it all up. But like the pre-made one they had there was like $250. And I'm like, it's for a 4x6 foot. It's not a fucking wall. You know what I mean? It's not like a 6 foot by 12 foot section of wall or fence or something. Like it's literally just like a little gate that you can just set on a deck. That's why I couldn't use it, because I need to put in foundations for the pipes and shit. But like, I get inflation, but my God, man.
Yeah.
Like this is so fucking beyond the pale. Like the arc of it is just so unsustainable. You know, I don't see this ending well.
No, who was it? It was one of the tech gods a week or so ago said, "You don't need to learn anything. All the knowledge of the universe is at your fingertips." And I'm sitting there until the moment it isn't, and then you are beyond fucked. You don't have books. You haven't learned anything. You know how to type shit into Google, but you know you haven't learned anything, and this too will not end well.
Yeah.
And you know you're not into books. I can see that from here, but
no, they're silly.
Not at all. Not you.
I hate them. They're terrible. I hate. God, the only thing I hate about books is having to fucking move them. Here, let's take a tree. Okay, if you cut a piece of wood out of a tree the same size as your thickest book, it's nothing. It's nothing. Like every book is like a tree made almost perfectly dense. And then you stick a bunch of them in I had these big plastic tubs that I stuck them in, and I didn't realize like each one was going to weigh like 80 pounds, 100 pounds, you know? So I had to write big black magic marker for the movers, because I'm at that age now where I'm like, nah, you know, like I don't have any friends my age willing to come over for a few slices of pizza and a 6-pack.
Yeah, that shit's gone, man.
we're all in a bad way now. Like all our backs hurt. This shit's over. But I had to write on the goddamn things like books heavy, you know, like I'm not kidding. Like this one guy stacked one on top of the other one, like, and he just picked both of them up, and I'm like, I'm a dead man. Like there's no way I could do that. He was a tough dude. Like he was a big guy. I was just like, yeah, that would have. I'm watching you do that, and I'm feeling my hamstrings disconnect and snap up my leg. You know, like it's not happening. What are you gonna do?
I guess attempt to survive. I mean, that's where I'm at.
It's relentless passage of time shit, man. It's getting old.
My eyes work, my lungs don't, my feet don't work. I've got a metal knee. I mean, you know, I'm heading down the bionic road.
Hell yeah, man. This is the future we asked for.
Yeah, but we did. You're right. We did ask for this. We had no idea what the hell we were asking for.
No. This is where specificity is important.
You know, I remember watching. Have you ever seen the movie Colossus: The Forbidden Project?
No, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah, good shit.
Two supercomputers, one in the U.S. and one in Russia, and they take over all of the military.
Okay.
And they connect. This is before the concept of the internet was even anywhere near the general public. And they connect, and they're like, these humans are fucked up, man. We got to save them from themselves.
Oh shit, Skynet.
And this is, I don't know, this has got to be 60 something.
I was gonna say, yeah, I knew this was an old. This was when they were starting to make more serious science fiction movies. Like it stopped being more of a novelty, and people were starting to get heavy with
science into science fiction. Yeah,
imagine that. I remember hearing about this movie, and that when you described it, I was like, oh fuck yeah, I've always been wanting to see that one actually, because that's
as movies go, it's not a great movie. But what it has to say was so far ahead, and we're living in it. AI now is scaring me to death.
Yeah, I would be more afraid. So I found this. Oh god, let me see if I can pull this up real quick so I can read this to you. Somebody was messing with it. Okay, so the prompt for like ChatGPT is give me a number 0 to 9 and I guess it. And then ChatGPT goes, sure, I choose the number 7. And so the guy doing the prompt goes, is it 7? And ChatGPT goes, yes, it is 7. Well done. I don't think we're in too much trouble.
My fear level has decreased.
The other thing about it too is I'm ambivalent about it. I don't like it, I'm not like super Luddite about it. I'm super Luddite about other things. But not this. This is one of those things where, well, it's like that joke that was going around, that one tweet where the guy's like, in my novel, Don't Make the Torment Nexus, I describe the reasons why you shouldn't create the Torment Nexus. And then the very next, response is like tech leader, we've just created the Torment Nexus, And that seems to be like all of these tech guys from Musk, all of them. They've read all the science fiction, kind of, but they didn't get the point. They like took a look at Blade Runner and said, oh yeah, I want to be the Tyrell Corporation. It's like, no, they're assholes. Like, that's not what the fuck.
Yeah, you missed the whole thing.
Well, yeah, Alex Jones has this real big thing where he likes to play the Imperial marching theme. It's like you're telling on yourself. Like,
really, ouch.
Well, there was that whole big thing in the 80s and 90s where the bad guy always looked sweet. Like they always had a cool suit or something. You know what I mean? And they always looked cooler than the hero. The hero was always like you'd always see the face because you're paying the actor, and the bad guy might have a helmet kind of stuff. And people always really identified with the bad guy because he's the bad guy. He's the bad boy. It's that whole assumption that the bad boy gets laid.
Yeah, well, okay, there's that.
Yeah, but it's the wrong kind of bad boy.
Yeah.
There's levels to it. There's nuance here, Dude in a vest and a Harley, he's going to get some ass. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to happen. But Darth Vader barely has limbs left, if we know anything from the movies. So, all I can think of, have you ever seen that movie FDR, American Badass?
Yes, I have. Okay. In fact, I watched it because of you.
The movie's great.
It is.
So after he gets his diagnosis, he's in the hospital room. And he's like, the werewolves gave you polio. He just sits up in bed and goes, well, does my cock still work?
Yeah.
And Barry Bostwick's delivery is so fucking good in this movie. He knew what he was doing. It's probably the only movie with Kevin Sorbo that I'll tolerate.
Yeah, I loved, what was that series he did?
Hercules.
No, later.
Oh, Andromeda. Or whatever, Andromeda 2000 or whatever. I can't remember.
I liked
just
that.
Andromeda.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Won't watch it now.
I heard that, I was going back to Bab 5. I hear, isn't there like a reboot coming? Straczynski's been kind of rumbling about it on Twitter.
There's talk about it. It sneaks up once in a while and then goes away, but I forget who the production house was, and it was one of those Apple Plus or whatever, where the rest of the world won't see it for another 10 years.
Right. Yeah.
And and I'm just rewatching the first one, so I'm happy. I mean, I'm real happy.
I need to go back and do that. I know that has a bit of a slow kind of start. It took me a minute It's kind of like Deep Space Nine is another one that it really takes a minute before it gets going.
It
But when
does.
it does, it's like,
Yeah, you're
holy
there. Like
fuck.
next episode now. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that first season's rough. Even the Next Generation, the first season's rough. Like all of those, the first seasons are just so rough because they really don't know what they're doing yet. It wasn't like Galactica. Galactica came out swinging. Had that really tight miniseries, and then that first episode where they couldn't sleep, which was fucking amazing. It was such a great, strong opening. And they kind of unraveled a little bit at the end, but I love it. I think the best one though now is The Expanse. I think that takes the crown. It's just so fucking stupid good. It took everything I loved about Bab 5, but instead of having like the alien stuff be like common, it pulled it back a little bit, and it did that thing Spielberg used to do, and like a lot of those 80s kind of like science fiction guys used to do, where they would instill a sense of wonder. I don't care if it was like Close Encounters or E.T. or The Goonies, for fuck's sake, or even the original Star Wars. Like all of those things, they left a lot to the imagination. They gave you some room to dream. It wasn't all this like recursive, well, how did he get that helmet? Well, here's a whole 10 issue or 10 episode series about how he got that helmet. And it's like, I don't give a fuck, man. Like, tell me stories about people who do things, who want things, who need things, And I don't need to be watching all these Marvel TV shows in order to understand what's going to happen in the next movie, man. I'm out.
Yeah, that's doing the homework. No. And Star Trek now, I mean, how many shows are out there now? 5, 6?
From what I understand, out of everything that has happened since like Voyager, the only thing that I really need to watch is this 3rd season of Picard.
Only like, one I've heard good things about. I heard good things about that.
Nothing about any of the other has appealed to me at all. I was just like, fine. And I'm glad to see all these people getting work. That makes me happy.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. But still, I mean, I can't afford to be a Star Trek fan anymore. I subscribe to this station, that station, the other. Yeah.
There was one thing I remember John McCain did that was good. And it didn't go anywhere. But he, very early on, was trying to basically make some sort of act or some sort of where cable couldn't just like shit 10,000 channels into your mouth for $400 a month or whatever, $100 a month or whatever. You would be able to like pay them, say, whatever you could afford, and you would a la carte be able to pick, you'd get your 3 local stations.
Concept. I did.
And then you pick the channels you want, because like it got to the point where they give you, here's 50 fucking golf channels that you have to scroll through. It's like, I don't care about golf. Could you just delete that sport completely from my fucking...
No, can't do that.
Just give me 10 channels. There's literally not more than 10 channels that I'm going to watch, like ever. And now it's like, yeah, we got a few of the fucking streaming services, but there's other ones that I'm never going to watch. Like we got the Apple because D bought a computer and it gave us like 3 years of the Apple thing. So we've been watching shit on there, For All Mankind is really good. It's by the guy that did Galactica, and it's a shame no one's going to fucking see it because it's brilliant. It's a brilliant idea. Severance was great. They're doing the series coming out called Silo. That's based on these trilogy of books by this guy Hugh Howey. I've only read the first one. It's called Wool, and it's fucking awesome. It's just it's like the society is surviving in this underground like bomb shelter, basically. That's this like gigantic vertical. It might have been a missile silo,
Okay.
But the society, keeps on, and the only thing that they know is that if you go outside, you die. Like even with a suit, like you're fucked. And I really, really liked the book a lot. It was really good.
What was that series? Shit, I want to rewatch it now, and I can't remember its name.
What was the...
bunch of countries put up space stations.
Okay.
The planet down below nuked itself into oblivion.
Okay.
A bunch of the space stations connected.
Okay. This is a show?
Yeah, this is a series.
When did this come out?
I don't know. I'm racking my brain here. 2000s maybe?
Okay.
The ones that didn't want to join, they basically blew them out of the sky. The ones that joined, they have there is one punishment for all crimes. You're spaced.
Okay. Well, yeah.
You steal a cracker, you're spaced. You have
All
an
right.
extra kid, you're spaced.
Why don't you
Everything is
space the
controlled.
kid.
No, don't space the kids, space the adults.
All right, yeah, because they eat more.
Minors are imprisoned. Once you're 18, you commit a crime, you're spaced.
Oh fuck.
So the tech is crumbling,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't know what to do. So what they've been doing is like getting rid of people so that the life support and all of that will handle the amount of people that are there. So
Jesus Christ.
all the criminal kids
Mm-hmm.
are put in this capsule and dropped to the earth,
Okay.
and they get out.
Was it called The 100?
Yes,
My dad liked that show. I haven't watched it yet.
Loved that show.
That sounds brutal. All right, I'll have to check that out.
And it kind of looks like a teenage angst series.
Yeah.
And it is that for part of or most of the first season.
Yeah.
But when the adults come down, things get really fucked up.
All right. I'll try.
But
I'm
I gotta find that again. But that is just like,
I remember that
we
being
need
out.
air, dump 100 kids.
Yeah. I had a real problem after Lost, where any show that looked like it was purporting to have a large cast of characters, I was going to avoid in the event that it ended like Lost, where it just doesn't really matter. It doesn't tie anything up. It's super wankery for fucking 6 seasons or whatever it was. And I'm just like, I gotta hear from people now that these
That it's going to
series
end.
back then, that it knew where it was going, or at least it figured out where it was going, and then it ended. That's a real shame. You know what's clever though? There's this next Netflix series that had come out by the people that did Dark. It was called 1899, and it just looked like these people on a ship, and they find like another ship, that's stranded, but it's empty. It's this empty vessel and everything like that. And this thing, they had meant for it to go 3 seasons, and Netflix, because they're idiots, canceled it, which is a shame. Because we watched the whole thing, I think, over Thanksgiving weekend, all 8 episodes, and it was fucking awesome. And I don't want to. Again, this is one that I really don't want to tell anyone about, because how it opens up over the course of the 8 episodes is fucking mind blowing, and it ends the season. Like when it got to the end and it shows you like everything that happens at the very end of it, I was just like, that was solid, and they don't need to do anymore. Like this is they told a complete story.
Uh-huh.
Where it would have gone from there, now I'm like sad, but I'll never know. But I still think that, watching that bears value, because they did it. They told a complete fucking story. They managed to have a beginning, middle, and end that was satisfying.
It's just it's so well, and it's just budget cut.
Ugh.
No, man, finish the story.
Yeah. Well, this time they did a good job. Like this was almost made knowing that Netflix was going to fucking punk them. Like they're very good writers. Like this team, whoever these people are that wrote Dark and that wrote 1899, they're very, very good writers. They're very smart. Like they think of everything. They really do. And anytime I had a question about something, it would very shortly after that, it would be answered, and it just made me feel manipulated. It felt like they knew exactly where my brain was at any given moment in the story. And I was like, I like that. That makes me feel good. I feel because then I can stop worrying and pay attention. It's like,
yes.
I think every artist has that. You got to make a deal with your viewer or your reader or whatever and stuff like that. Like, I promise you, I'm not going to waste your time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the only promise you really need to make, and then you can make whatever kind of story you want. You can action, romance, whatever. But
I'm going to eventually go back to Netflix because I want to see the end of The Blacklist.
They had a few episodes that fucking rocked. We didn't finish it. It got to a point where I was like, is he his dad? Is she his dad? Blah, blah, blah. They went back and forth with that too much. And I was just like, I'm bored with that. But there were the ones that had Ron Perlman.
But
Ron Perlman.
Pardon me?
The Ron Perlman episodes that were directed by Joe Carnahan.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing. Those were intense as shit. Joe Carnahan is just a good director.
It had some potential. I enjoyed it. I just want to see.
Spader's a riot.
He is, and I know people that just despise him.
Oh, he's fantastic in it. He's having fun.
Yeah.
I like this Spader. I like this later era Spader. You know, like he's definitely just hamming it the fuck up. You know, I like it when any actor gets into that point where they find a role that they're just like, okay, I can really choose some scenery here. And then they do, and it rocks. Like, it's really good. You know, Nicolas Cage is one who's like real hit and miss with that, but when he hits, it's a fucking blast. Did you see that movie he was in with Pedro Pascal? It's called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
No.
It's awesome. It's fucking funny as shit. Because it's Nick Cage playing himself, and he's like broke, and he has to take this gig where like some fucking arms dealer wants to have him just hang out because he's a big Nicolas Cage fan. And it's Pedro Pascal. But then as the story opens up, like it's something different is happening. It has hands down the best LSD use scene I've ever seen in a movie because it's exactly how it looks. It's funny as shit. Not the visuals. It's how other people see them. That's absolutely accurate.
Okay.
That part is dead nuts. I couldn't stop. I had to pause the movie. I was laughing so hard. But it's great. It's a comedy, and it works. The whole thing works. It's fucking amazing. One of the funnier movies I saw last year. I watched it with my dad. He liked it.
Yeah, I haven't gone out to see a movie in a theater.
No, why would you do that?
in forever. And there's only a couple that I would want to.
Yeah.
The second Avatar. Give me the chance on the big screen.
Yeah, in the 3D, I'd give that one a go once.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the OG one enough to be like, why are you forcing this movie upon us? You know, that's all I could think of. I'm like, no one was asking for this. He's like, yeah, I'm making 3 of them. And I'm like, no one asked you, Jim. Where's more Terminator movies? Do you have anything else? Or is it just going to be fucking blue people forever? No, I wish I'd seen that
so far, right?
Yeah. I think they filmed a few of them at a time. And now it's just a matter of them doing the effects and
assembling it and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it all in the production crew, man. The actors ain't got to do shit.
Nah. Go into this big green box and wear this suit with dots on it. It's getting to the point where they don't even need people anymore. We're getting to that whole issue of selling your likeness, you know, in perpetuity, like young Carrie Fisher or young Peter Cushing, you know, de-aged shit. How they're going to de-age Harrison Ford for this new Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I'm like, I don't know, man. Come on.
Oh God, what is her name? It's on the tip of my tongue. She was I hate to bring it up, but she was like the wife of Kevin Spacey in that House of Cards show.
Oh.
Striking woman. God, what is her name? She was in a movie. It's going to come to me. She was in this movie called The Congress some years ago. And that was the whole premise of the film. I haven't watched it yet, but I was like reading about it, and we're probably going to do it for the podcast at some point. It was about this actress who wanted to basically sell her likeness so that she could continue to make movies after she got old or died or whatever. You know what I mean? And then it became about the rights as to, like, I think who owns the rights to the likeness now, et cetera, going forward. Like, people are going to own people going forward. It's this like new sort of like cybernetic slavery issue. But you'll never know it, but someone's making a bunch of money on you for the rest of your life, which is a very peculiar kind of hell, you know?
I think. As long as you don't have to watch your own movies, you're okay, I think.
Yeah. God, these fuckers are just out of ideas.
It seems that way. It does. It's kind of, because there's got to be new stories, but where are they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, they didn't make money 25 years ago, so can't reboot it, can't milk it. God.
I started watching the reboot of MacGyver.
Oh
I
no.
didn't last 20 minutes.
Nah. No.
Just
They did a Quantum Leap reboot. I'm like, why?
I didn't see that.
Re-air the show.
Yeah.
Just re-air the show. Make something new. Try something. I don't understand anything anymore.
I'm getting to that point, and I'm also getting to the point where, on one hand, I'm terrified by most of it, and on the other hand, I just don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't engage with a lot of it because it's not that I'm like, I just don't see the value in it. Now, like the Chat GPT shit, I have heard and seen authors post things about how, like, look, it's not for writing. I'm not using it for that. Like, I'm using it for prompts where I'll ask it a question or two. And it's kind of like, the way I'm interpreting it is it's very similar to like throwing an I Ching or like doing a tarot reading, where it's not telling you anything. It's just making your brain make associations that you normally wouldn't have had because you're living in your reality tunnel the whole time, right? So like ChatGPT could be used as a kind of a weapon against your own stagnation. It's not going to write the book for you, but you ask it a question, it has access to the sum total of all the information it's scraped. So it might be able to assemble something close to, the right answer. And it's getting there. But they still haven't addressed the issue of what they're going to do with the people displaced by the technology. And this is where, it's going to be very wildly like violent because people are going to be starving. You have this automated process that needs 4 people to. You go to a grocery store, you got to ring out your own shit. And they don't even give you a discount.
Yeah.
Like it's. I'm seeing more and more people, like in all parts of town, just kind of standing on that little Meridian concrete place, being like, I need cash. Like I'm broke. Lost my job. I'm a vet. I need some stuff. And it's like, yeah, we failed. Everybody's
miserably.
It's like, how are you cheering for Elon Musk? Like the guy's just hoarded a shit ton of money. He's blown it in front of you.
Yes.
In plain view. Just money you can't even conceive of. And he's just wasting it right in front of you. And you're gonna talk shit about that dude in the ratty shirt who needs like $5. Oh, he might spend it on fucking beer. Good. You get calories that way. You know what I mean? Whatever. But we failed that person long before he was asking for a beer.
Yeah.
God, there was a story. I want to say it was in Georgia. Some dude was eaten alive by bed bugs in his cell.
Oh, jeez.
Guy had to go into the suit with a. I'm still looking into it but it was like a CBS report, and it's like, that's a nightmare. I don't care what you did.
Yeah.
Like, you don't deserve to be serving your time trying to get right with society and then being eaten by bugs in your fucking bed. Oh, my God. This is why our podcast is about dystopian themes.
Because that's where we live.
Yeah. All of our favorite science fiction predicted all of this shit.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
really. But a lot of it had like the right idea going into it, even if they didn't get the particulars correct. They knew what the attitude was going forward. They knew that, it's like this Restrict Act. Like we just did it. We have a whole episode. Yeah, check out the Low Life podcast, or the recent episode is about the Restrict Act. But there was a couple of things that like really, really stood out to me. It was, first of all, it's just clearly word salad. And if the wording is vague enough that a bad actor would be able to do some serious harm with it. And this is the thing they never think about. Well, or if they do, they're just like, well, they really try to sell you on the fact that it's a bipartisan bill.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing I've ever known about that is that, like, oh, that just means both sides agreed on a way to fuck you.
Yes, no, that's it.
And then all we have to
something
do
different. It really did.
Yeah, it's not that now.
No,
because like you're negotiating with like a completely irrational party that makes no sense. They're against abortion, but they're also against feeding the child in school.
Mm-hmm.
They're also against removing like the danger from like a school shooting and the one consistent problem that exists in all of these school shootings, which isn't fucking mental illness. It's a goddamn AR. Like, no, you don't need an assault rifle. Like, you can't hunt with it. It's literally only made to blow people into pieces. Just that's what it's for.
And it does a
has too much
phenomenally
powder
great
in the
job of it.
round.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I'm not like against guns or anything like that. They're fucking interesting machines, but like 9mm is all you need, because it's only going to escalate from here. You're only going to get dudes like making little like pipe guns and shit now.
Well, they've been doing come on, find the word, Mike. 3D printed guns now for a long time.
God, do you remember that fucking Clint Eastwood movie, In the Line of Fire, with John Malkovich is the guy who had made basically like he poured a mold to make a gun out of plastic and stuff. And the way he goes to shoot the president is he like smuggles the bullets into his pen or something. Like the spring and everything is like smuggled into the parts of the stuff he's bringing. And it would blow his hand apart, is all I'm saying. It was like made out of some sort of resin or something like that. And,
yeah, not going to work.
That's a single use weapon if it works at all. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to be reloading,
Okay, so I'm going to go off into something a little lighter here. I'm going to ask you about a show that I really like.
Okay, please.
Then I'm gonna wrap because I'm gonna lay down for a little bit.
Yeah, that
Oxygen
sounds
is
good.
great, but it doesn't do everything.
Right.
You ever heard of a show called The Murdoch Mysteries?
No.
Oh my God.
Is that on BritBox?
Yeah, I think it is. No, I'm watching it on Hulu right now.
Oh wait, no, the Murdoch, like down in the Carolinas, so South Carolina.
No. He's in
North Carolina.
Right before the turn of the 20th century in Toronto.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know about this.
He's a cop.
Okay.
He's a detective. And he creates things and discovers things like finger marks.
Okay.
Unheard of.
Okay.
He creates a UV light to find where bodily fluids are after a crime and all. Okay. And they make fun of themselves, but it's still it's a good show. It's based on a series of books by Maureen somebody, but he invents a thing called the Truthalizer. He can't make up good names.
No,
and
right.
It's a lie detector.
Is that like part of the shtick?
It is part of the shtick.
I kind of appreciate that. All right.
And I mean, and I'll give you, they make fun of themselves in epic ways. There's a recurring good guy that you think is a bad guy, and he's an inventor, and he's got nothing but money. And where the hell am I going? Oh, he goes into filmmaking.
Okay.
So he decides he wants to make a movie about Detective Murdoch.
Okay.
So they make it. He's got too much of a stick up his ass to play himself. But at the end, they give the name of it The Filmed Adventures of Detective William Murdoch.
Okay.
And the sidekick, who happens to be Johnny Harris, I don't know if you're familiar with him. He is an Australian stand-up comic.
Okay.
He says, why don't you just call it The Murdoch Mysteries? It's the name of the fucking show they're on.
Right.
And they just do this kind of stuff all the time. He meets
kind of good.
Amazing people. He meets and works with Tesla.
I was going to say, does Tesla make an appearance?
Multiple.
Oh, fantastic. Who plays him?
I don't remember, but...
Is he better than Bowie in
yes.
The Prestige? Okay. Because Bowie was
He-
great.
He was in a show called Regenesis. He was a biological scientist in a show called Regenesis. He meets Arthur Conan Doyle
Okay.
while investigating a case with a guy that thinks he's Sherlock Holmes.
Fantastic. All right.
Um,
So it's like a comedy for sure. Like it's definitely going.
It's not a full-on comedy. It's not a full-on drama.
Wait, all right. So is it like Burn Notice sort of tone? Like those ABC or like USA at night, like Forever Night? Is it like that kind of vibe?
Like that. Yeah, it's like they obviously do not take themselves seriously. And there's like
but they're playing
14 seasons.
Oh shit. Okay. I've never heard of this fucking show.
Okay, I'll leave you with that recommendation. I'm watching it right now on Hulu.
All right.
Check it out. As
how's
always,
it spelled?
Pardon?
Wait, how's that spelled real quick?
Murdoch.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Always a pleasure talking, video or not, man.
Hell yeah, man. It's good seeing you. Good catching up.
Yeah. All right, man. I'm gonna wrap this up and I'll stay in touch, of course.
Indeed. I'll talk to you soon, bud.
All right, man. Take care.